So hello and welcome. This is Bambi Thompson, and I am your host for yet another Mojo Master interview. I have a really good friend of mine, Sandy McDougall, who we met, gosh, how many years ago? 4, 5 years ago?
4, yeah.
Something like that, 4 years ago in a coaching program. And it was one of those connections where we just keep bumping in and coming back to each other. You know, it's just one of those special magical things when you're in a coaching program. And there are certain people, I had about 5 people that I've really kept in contact with, and Sandy is one of them. Sandy is so cool. She does a really great thing of walking women through kind of their blocks and their challenges and into their power. And I love her website title, which is The Maverick Edge. So Sandy, tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
Glad to. Morning, Bambi. Nice to be here. Yes, so my brand and website is under the name The Maverick Edge. And in my book, Maverick is she who follows her heart no matter what, who finds and who really dedicates and invests in herself to find the clarity that it takes, to know what direction she wants to go in, where her heart is calling, to find the courage to take action, and then to develop the creativity and to progress, to meet all the stops along the way and all the pushback and all the challenges. And so I work with women at, some people might call me a holistic soul coach or a holistic life coach, but I work in work settings, business settings, life settings, because who we are anywhere is who we are everywhere. And basically, the deeper understanding we have of our own awareness, our own blocks, and where we have lost that place of clarity based on all kinds of things that have happened, or internally or externally. When we clear the slate there, so much else is possible. And when you want to really be all of yourself and aligned with yourself and do all the big things you have in your dreams, my mantra is trust your crazy ideas.
Yeah, I love that.
My work.
Yep. I can totally relate to why I'm connected to Sandy. She's talking Maverick. She's talking crazy dreams. I'm like sexy, sassy success, rock your mojo, like we're very aligned. Yeah.
It's great. As a theme, right?
Yeah. It's good stuff. And with me being, a brain coach, I call myself a brain coach, where I help people rein in their brain so it works for them and their energy field. Yep. To really accelerate themselves to success. Both of us have to guide our clients through that confusion, that lack of direction, that self-doubt that they have. And that's all about getting clarity. So we each have different perspectives on getting clarity. So Sandy, let me hear yours. How do you help your clients get there?
So I have actually a number of different methods, as you do. I do believe, though, that some of the best doors to clarity are through new experience. And I've noticed that that's a theme that I keep coming back to. So as Bambi knows, when I took a road trip up from Washington area, D.C. area, where I live, up into New England and visited her.
That was awesome.
That was my version of giving myself a whole new experience, getting out of the regular routines of daily life, wearing name tags and going to networking meetings and talking to people, and getting on the road and meeting people just as me and just as them in this random way. And I learned a lot about myself and my beliefs and my tools that I use by using them in a completely different setting. So that's an example that I gave myself, of giving myself a new experience to mirror back to myself. Oh, in this setting, it works this way, or I learned that. And this is the same kind of experience that I try to replicate in many, many different ways with my tribe, with people I interact with all the time, and with my clients. And we can do that in many different ways on the phone or, face-to-face. And I've also started to add going out into nature as another tool that I bring, and I offer especially to people who, live near me or who I intersect with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the nature thing is huge. That's actually what I do to get clarity energetically. Yeah. From my vantage point, the lack of clarity, that confusion, is that kind of brain fog that we get when we're stressed out. We're trying to really dial in, figure stuff out. We get more and more stressed. We're releasing more and more cortisol, and our higher order thinking goes down, down, down. And we're like, why the hell can't I like get clarity here? It's because you've like literally turned off your brain, gone back to like a 7-year-old, right? Yeah. And I go into the woods, and it's the energetics of the plants and the earth without all of this man-made, frequency going around, the electrical stuff around me. And it is so, so helpful. So I think that's so awesome that you're connecting your, men and women into this wonderful resource that we have around us.
Well, the point you're making is how much we are affected by our environment. And that's one reason, again, why coaching can be so powerful. You are intentionally choosing a new environment, some other conversation, some other point of view, some reflection, place to mirror yourself and see yourself in ways that don't happen in your ordinary life. Right. So, and then to your point about brain work, that gives me another way to explain some of the work that I do. I believe, because it's helped open me up, that the more playful we become, we let ourselves shed all those layers that we've accumulated over the years and let ourselves deeper into our own hearts or our own minds in ways that we usually protect ourselves from. So another of my mantras is, yes, it's true, mavericks have more fun. And there's purpose to it. Play is fun and healthy, and who doesn't want any more of that? Yeah. But there's real serious purpose behind it. So, for example, I'll be talking later about my freebie, and my freebie is all about fun. I have other processes. One of mine, I call the dreams and money process. And I can't remember if I did that with you, Bambi. I may have to do that with you sometime. And it's a custom design process. I brought on the Maverick road trip with myself, and it's with me. And people, when they prepare to go through the process with me, say, well, how do I get ready? Do I get out my pad and paper, or do I think about something first and prepare? Mm-hmm. No, come as you are. Just be fresh and free with this experience. And that's where we can often let our brain and our hearts open to places which are usually sealed off, locked tight behind the,
Really true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as you're saying that, my mind is kind of tripping out here of kind of finding what are the connections for me. And a lot of my work, when someone is really stuck and they can't release that anxiety or that belief or whatever, I do inner child work, and I pull the child in to have a conversation. And what are we doing when we're playing? It's like we're feeding that inner child. And who is really the one in the driver's seat? It is that, you can call it the inner child, you can call it your subconscious mind, whatever, but they have the same role of, they're kind of, they're like the Wizard of Oz behind the screen, man. And they're like determining what can materialize out in the magical realm of the Emerald City. And if you have a way to get in there and get them on board with where you want to go, and playfulness is such an amazing thing for that little child to go, oh, okay, I'll play your way, So it's really, it's truly a great thing that you're doing there.
Well, I love when we get to talk, because our language intersects, but it is complementary.
Yes.
It's not identical, right?
Yes.
As you're speaking, I'm getting my images. I speak often, and I'm a writer and a speaker as well. And most recently, I've been finding an effectiveness with this particular image. So I think a lot of us at various points in our life, and it still happens to us as coaches too, wake up in a certain phase of our life and feel like we've gotten on the wrong bus. And we're taking some crazy ride. And how did we get here? It might be in one section of our life. Sometimes it's the whole kit and caboodle, right? But in whichever scale it is, when that feeling comes, what you're really looking for is to make sure that you then have a way to get back behind the steering wheel and become the driver of your own bus. Get the tools in your toolkit to get down the street you want and navigate to the destination, the star on your horizon, to be able long-term and short-term to be going where you want. that is work, if you will, and it's very right brain activity in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
But when you keep that sense of adventure and freedom and fun in it, wow, off we go, and what's around the next corner, and yes, I know where I'm going, but I'm ready and open for what comes.
Yeah.
That feeling puts control back in your hands,
Mm-hmm.
and a sense of freedom. So it's interesting how those two intersect, because we don't usually think of control and freedom as necessarily being in the same box, but certainly we don't want to be on anybody else's crazy ride, and we don't want it to feel totally out of our control.
Right.
So playfulness and having a sense of direction together, that's where there's a lot of life and a lot of possibility.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. And the way I help women feel sexy, sassy, and successful is having the ability to, create this amazing energy, which you're creating in your own way through play. I do it through mind hacks and working with the energy field. But then once you have that, that's when you're, in Abraham Hicks language, you're in the vortex, right? You've got this creative mojo. And that's when you laser focus it, which is exactly what you're saying, is you want to have that vision. Where do you want to go in your life? When you're in that playful, excited state, that feeling state, that's a really big ass energy field. And when you have a big ass, happy, positive energy field, you are like a freaking magnet, and you might as well be laser focusing it. What is that goal? What is that desire that you have? Use that energy to fuel you and get you there faster. And that's we're absolutely doing same thing, different language, we're coming at it from different ways, but it's so true. We're helping accelerate our people to where they want to go through this energy that is created, in your case with play, in my case with brain hacks and, biochemistry and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a great thing. And really, stuff pops up. Those synchronicities pop up a lot faster when you're in that playful state.
A whole new paradigm.
Yeah.
It's based on the norms of our culture. And so many of us, and I have been so guilty of this for decades, really. If I find myself feeling stressed, confused, overwhelmed, my previous, and many of our previous sort of go-to energy is, I must have to work faster and harder to get out of this hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody else is working faster and harder, apparently, because they look like they're doing all right. What's my problem?
Been there, done that, go there regularly. Yeah.
But I've also worked in early childhood education, and I love the philosophy that play is children's work.
Yeah.
And somehow we seem to draw a line at, teenagehood or something and say, okay, now we need to work and no more play and adventure.
Right.
It is through play and adventure. That is as serious work for adults, in my book, as work is. And it's actually when we free ourselves up through your methodologies, my methodologies, and many other people who are now seeing this new paradigm, let's just, relax the walls a little bit and stretch. That's why getting outside is so important. It opens our horizons. It widens our horizons, the sky and the views. That allows our spirit, soul, and our mind to soar in new ways. And as you say, the energy there is limitless.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, a little tip that I give my clients is that when we're struggling, this is, I just teach what I do for myself. It's like, I'm the poster child of my business, right? Aren't we all? And so whenever I'm stuck in that place of just disharmonious energy and fear and inadequacy, self-doubt, looking at everybody else and going, everybody else is doing really well, I better work harder. It's like, wait a minute, I just ask myself, how can this be easy? I'm open to a new way of being. I'm open to the possibility that this can be joyful and fun, relaxing, and really allow myself to have the time freedom that I desire without being in a rabbit wheel. How can this be easy? And I'm open to a new way of being. And what I have found is that asking questions is super, super powerful, because our subconscious mind is like a Labrador retriever with OCD. It has to fetch the stick, and the stick is whatever question you're asking at the time or whatever you're focusing on. And it has to go out and get it and bring it back into your experience. And if I ask a question, it cannot stand having an unsolved question, right? Unsolved problem, whatever, challenge. It wants to bring it to me. And when I can just go, oh, okay, I'm open to a new way of being. How can this be easy and fun and joyful? How can this be easy, fun, and joyful? And I'll just walk through. That's my mantra of the day, right? And all of a sudden I go, wow, that was easy. Cool. Oh, that was fun. Cool. Shit, this is working. That was awesome. Right? And it's like all of a sudden my subconscious mind starts bringing me things that are already in us, but we can't access it because we are shutting ourselves down with that hamster wheel behavior.
And I have another angle on questions. So much in our culture also is oriented towards finding the right answer, right? Even in school, before we left school, we were experiencing multiple choice questions. Something's right, something's wrong. And God forbid you get something wrong.
Right.
So I talk a lot with my clients also about the power of questions versus chasing the answers. Questions open, answers close. And often you feel like you've got the right answer, but you've asked a question that either is the wrong question or is not a relevant question at the moment. So being open to more questions is another way to live more expansively. And so while I talk about that, I just wanted to add one other thing about the dimensions. So we're talking about living in tight spaces like hamster wheels and boxes and boundaries and so on, and maybe taking through adventure, through play, through mind work, expansion, expanding the paradigm. Another one which you referred to is, and I have two, which is moving from speed and efficiency orientation to slowing down. That's another reason going out into nature is helpful. Another reason changing your pace regularly is helpful, like meditating or at practices that you espouse, I espouse, and we practice, right? It's not just that we do these things, we live them. That's how we experience them. So playing with paradigms and playing with dimensions gives us more vistas on ourselves.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. It's really cool. Just this morning with a client, I was addressing her proclivity to procrastinate, which we all have, right? We all have that inside of us. And I was saying, if you take 10 minutes to just sit, close your eyes, and visualize the actions you need to take that would be getting going, case in point, taxes, right? Everybody procrastinates. That's universal. Everybody procrastinates on their taxes. So what I do is I sit down, I close my eyes, and I visualize walking up to an orderly desk with getting my stacks of information and just having everything flow easily and effortlessly because my brain is elevated, because I'm in serotonin and dopamine, I'm relaxed, and being able to just execute. Now, what happens when you do that for 10 minutes to visualize you executing this thing you are procrastinating on? Your brain is actually releasing the neurotransmitters and the hormones that your body would be releasing when you were doing it. And you're going to feel, when you're taking action on something that you procrastinate, you're going to feel, really empowered, really confident, like, all right, pat on the back. All right, I feel good. It's feel good chemicals. So you pregame, right? I always say the word pregame. You pregame with your brain, get your body filled with those chemicals, and then it's like you're almost like the horse in the gate. You can't wait to get started. And I couldn't figure out why when I would sit and visualize what was happening. And then recently I was reading some success book, and sure enough, they talked about, if you actually spend 10 minutes visualizing the actions, you're filling your body with the physiological concoction that's going to help you implement it. And suddenly you break through the barrier of procrastination. So all these there's so many cool tips and tools. So I know that you have a very groovy freebie on your website, and I am going to share the screen here so that we can see how people can contact each of us and grab some more groovy information. So we have Sandy McDougall at themaverickEdge.com. Tell us about the Maverick Playbook and how do we get it?
Yeah. Thanks, Bambi. So yes, if you go to the maverickEdge.com, at the top of the landing page, you will find, you'll be able to download the Maverick Playbook for free, my gift to you. Check it out. In a very few pages, you get if you sit down with a cup of tea or coffee, lemonade, and maybe half an hour and a pencil, and have this paperwork in front of you, and in a quiet place, let yourself dream and play with the questions. We were just talking about questions.
Perfect.
That I ask. You will find that you've engaged in a playful experience that will help juice up your imagination for what you really deeply value, love, and desire for in your life. And so I love bringing the spirit of adventure, playfulness, and upbeat energy and expansiveness, as we were talking about, into life. And this little Maverick Playbook is yours. Just take half an hour, and I promise you, your vision for your life will change in surprising and beautiful ways.
Oh, that's awesome. And you can reach me or find me through BambiThompson.com. And if you go to AnxietyBreakthroughJumpstart.com, you will get my Anxiety Breakthrough Jumpstart Kit, which is meditations, brain hacks, mind shifters, affirmations, things that you can step into your power and get the ball moving towards where you want to go, because that's the very first thing is you've got to start cutting loose yourself from the amygdala hijack, which is your brain going into fight or flight, fear, and shutting you down. That's a great place to start. And BambiThompson.com, you'll see the various things that I offer and get some great tips there with my podcast, my radio show, Power Me Up Radio Show podcast. So enjoy these freebies. Definitely use them. As you can see, Sandy and I are really a great partnership. And I think that we can absolutely help people move into their power. So thank you so much, Sandy, for joining me. I appreciate your time. As always, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. I always have my mind expanded. Thanks so much.
Sandy.